BattleScar has made a return in Destiny 2, and it is available to grind for in Season 20, Season of the Defiance. Now, this legendary pulse rifle is obtainable just by opening engrams and earning faction rank up packages. You can get this pretty much anywhere. It is in the world loot pool, and it is a overall good alternative of a weapon. Now, does it compete with the likes of Disparity or other 450 round per minute? One thing I will say about Disparity is, even though it is a 450 round per minute, it is an aggressive burst, so that pretty much just takes it out of the class. We can't even compare the two. But does it stack up with the BXR? And that's what we'll be taking a look at today. Now, the BattleScar does actually come with some brand new traits that we have not seen in the game, and we will talk about those here shortly. But for my first role for PvE, we're going to go over the god role that I would actually consider to be the god role inside PvE. Like I said, my channel is very subjective and I respect everyone's opinions, but this will be the role that I actually look for if I decide to keep one of these weapons. Now, make no mistake, there's no need to actually go out and try to hurry up and grind for a BattleScar or anything like that unless you prefer to. And like I said, this weapon is a lightweight frame, so you get very superb handling and that snappy feeling of this weapon, which is phenomenal. That's absolutely what I love. The only drawback to this weapon is I feel like I couldn't really play with it as well as I would like to. I may have to go back and play with it just a little bit more, but when I was playing on the Warlock class the other day, everyone was playing so much more passive aggressive than I was, and I was just struggling to get kills because I'm used to rushing a little bit more, whereas these guys really slowed down the pace for me and it really threw me off my game. Now, for this video, I'm actually going to do things a little bit different. I will go over my PvE role and my PvP role together and kind of give like a compare contrast type deal. So for my first perk, I'm actually going to go with Arrowhead Break. If you do not use Arrowhead Break, you'll be sitting at a 54 recoil, and I just do not like that. Arrowhead Break gives me a plus 30 in recoil, and that gives me to 84. And then if you do use the counterbalance mod, which I do use inside of PvP, that'll bring my recoil to 99. This will just allow the weapon to be a lot more consistent than it already is in its base form, and that's what I really want. Now, that will stay the same for my PvE role. For my mag perk, I'm actually going to go with accurized rounds for that increase in range. Remember, this is a lightweight frame, so it does not have the best range in its class. Now, this brings me to the damage fall off with this weapon. So if you have accurized rounds and you have a range masterwork, you will be sitting at a damage fall off range of 20 meters when firing from the hip and 34 meters when you are aiming down sights, which I feel like is pretty good, especially for a lightweight frame. You're going to be dueling with this weapon a little bit more. I know in my gameplay it's a little hard to actually see that just because of how passive everyone was playing, but you're going to be dueling with this weapon a lot more, especially in close quarter type stuff. You're not really going to want to use this pulse rifle for very long range engagements, especially since the zoom is a little different compared to others. Now, of course, when I mean others, I'm mainly comparing this to the BXR, which the BXR zoom actually is a 18, whereas the BattleScar is a 17. So there is some disadvantages with this weapon, but overall, it is still a very good weapon in this case. And like I said, for my two perks, I will stick with Arrowhead Break and accurized rounds for both PvP and PvE. You could go with extended mag and stuff like that, but I really don't feel the need to that, especially since you actually have to grind for this role. You can't craft your own, and if you were going to craft your own, then I would say go ahead and craft one for PvE and then craft one for PvP, but that's just not the case with this weapon. Now, for my third trait column, I'm actually going to go with Perpetual Motion. Perpetual Motion is a great perk. You get a lot of benefits just by moving around, and all you have to really do is just walk. Each stack provides 10 stability, 10 handling, and 10 reload speed. You really can't go wrong with that. I know Keep Away is on here, and I really talked highly of Keep Away, and it is a great perk for a lot of long range weapons, but this is more of a dueling weapon since it's a lightweight frame. So I highly recommend using Perpetual Motion. Now, for my final trait column, we have a lot of interesting perks. And the one that stands out the most to me that I actually do not have yet, I have played with it a couple times, is Kinetic Tremors. And this pretty much states sustained kinetic damage to a target emits a shockwave that damages any nearby targets, which is a fantastic perk, especially inside of PvE. Now, in the background gameplay, I am playing with multi-kill clip, and although I do like multi-kill clip essentially, but Kinetic Tremors is definitely the way to go. and I think it's a very unique perk, especially for a kinetic weapon. And don't get me wrong, there are plenty of other good traits. Even in the third column, we have a lot of different good options, especially for PvE. But if I had to actually have one solid roll, it would be perpetual motion with kinetic tremors. And then we also have field tested. Field tested is actually an origin trait for this weapon, and it basically states defeating targets or dealing damage with this weapon gradually increases range, stability, handling, and reload speed. Swords gain increased charge rate and guard resistance. Overall, it is a good origin trait because you get the free benefits to the weapon. All you have to do is get kills. And for my masterwork, I'm actually going to go with a ranged masterwork like I stated at the beginning of the video, and then a counterbalance mod. Like I said, if you do use arrowhead break with the counterbalance mod, that'll bring you up to a 99 recoil, and that will make the weapon feel a lot more consistent. So basically, my official god roll of the BattleScar would be arrowhead break, accurized rounds, perpetual motion, kinetic tremors. Those are the best traits for me with this weapon. Of course, there are other routes that you can go. I would definitely stick with arrowhead break, and I would definitely stick with kinetic tremors, but we do have osmosis in that fourth column trait, and we also have high impact reserves. We have other decent options, but kinetic tremors is just by far outstanding, especially since we have anti-barrier pulse rifle. You can imagine the synergy there when you're breaking a shield, and then you're also getting that shockwave of damage with kinetic tremors. Now, like I said, BattleScar is a very good weapon to actually go and hunt down, especially if you do get a world drop, just because you don't have to worry about grinding out for a BXR, which in my opinion, the BXR is the best 450 round per minute lightweight frame pulse rifle in the game. It will be for a while, especially since it does roll with incandescent, but BattleScar is a great alternative if you do not want to actually grind for the BXR, or if you do not have access to that content. Now, I am going to leave an image of the exact roll that I'm hunting for and what I believe is the god roll for this weapon. I hope you all enjoyed this video and you like this content. If you do like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I will have videos out regularly going over builds and other weapon reviews. Until then, I hope you guys keep on grinding, and I will see you all in the next video.
30 seconds remain. Finish them.